And in this session, we're talking about performance routines. Last session, we talked about this concept of an hourglass and having things that you do physically to help separate between things going on off the field and things going on the field, or having a process in place to help you separate between the different aspects of your life, whatever those may be. Now, with in-game routines, I'll show you some interviews and video clips with two players, a pitcher and a hitter from Texas Christian University at the end of this video, which I think will tie some things in together. I'll also show you some pitching routines and hitting routines of some players at Vanderbilt University that you may be familiar with. But I want to talk about the purpose of a routine. What's the purpose? The purpose of an in-game routine is to give you a consistent starting point, a consistent reference point. That every time I step into the box, every time I step on the mound, every time I go to shoot a free throw, kick a PAT, whatever it is, this is what I do. And I have my mental checkpoints. So for example, you'll see hitters looking at the label of their bat, taking a deep breath as a mental checkpoint that if I can see that label of the bat, I'm in control of myself. And we know you've got to be in control of yourself before you can control your performance. You'll also see hitters take their bat, put it on the outside part of the plate, leave it just for a second on the inside part of the plate, and then come up into their hitting stance with a good pre-pitch rhythm, and that mental check of seeing that part on the plate, and I touch that spot on the plate, and now I come set, I am in control. You'll see with pitchers, taking a breath, and then coming set to get the sign. You'll see David Price from Vanderbilt University, the 2007 #1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. You'll see him pitching at Vanderbilt working on a routine, and then you'll see some clips of him in Game 7 of the 2008 ALCS pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays against the Red Sox, and see him using the breath there to again help him stay in control of himself. So why a routine? And a lot of people have the misconception that a routine, all it does is it slows the game down. What the routine does is the routine serves as a foundation for you to check that you're in control of yourself. And if you're in control of yourself, you're in control of your performance. Or what we'll say, mind control leads to body control, leads to bat or ball control. And if you can stay in control of yourself mentally, you got a better chance at executing your mechanics physically, which gives you a better chance of getting a good result with that bat or that ball or whatever sport you're playing. So I look for a deep breath as a part of the routine as well. Why? What does that do? That brings you and connects you to the present moment. You see, anytime you take a deep breath, it puts you right back in the present moment. It brings oxygen in the system, lets you slow down, lets you think more clearly, puts you back in control of yourself. So I want to see a visual checkpoint that I can stop, I can see that, I can breathe. For hockey players, it might be at the shoelace on their skates. For mixed martial artists, we're now using, if you look at the Harley-Davidson sign in the ring or some type of logo, they've got that little R trademark. I look down at that R. If I get a deep breath focused on that R, that's a sign that I'm in control of myself. So we'll take a look at some routines from some athletes. I'll play those two. They're pretty long videos of the TCU athletes, and then that will be the end of the video. So I'll sort of wrap up here saying these routines are going to put you in control of yourself. They're going to put you in a better place mentally and physically, but realize that the routine is a skill that needs to be practiced. Just like everything else. You don't just do the routine once and then expect to have it show up for you in the game. It's got to be something you do on the tee, something you do in practice. Again, because game like practice. What we do in practice will show up in games. Everyone says, oh, perfect practice makes perfect. Well, there is no perfect practice. I say practice makes permanent. So the way you practice, with routines and quality and effort and focus, it's going to be the same thing that's going to transfer into games. Let's take a look at some of these routines.
You saw the numbers for Scott Kazmir, who during the regular season won 12 games, lost 8, an ERA of under 3.5.
Well, Friday night, my routine was just, I had a routine because I worked with Brian Kane last year, but it really helped me refocus my routine when he came in on Friday night, because Friday night, he videotaped us, and I'd kind of just tap the plate, just to tap it, and I'd put my bat on my shoulder and just kind of go through a routine, and then Friday night when Brian Kane worked with us, he actually sat down and showed us what we were doing, and so on Saturday, I took that and I actually took my time focusing out not just on the plate, but focusing on maybe a little pebble or something on the outer half that helped me just zone out everything else, zone out all my bats, no matter if I was 3 for 3 or 0 for 3, and just zone that out, and then come with my bat on the shoulder, take a deep breath, releasing my shoulders down, and then just coming to the plate with an approach, just going rip it.
That's it right there, Eric.
Okay, so you also tied in your swing thought with your rhythm.
With my rhythm, yes sir.
Beautiful. Okay, Curve, talk to us about how has the season been going for you? How have you been feeling at the plate up until that small adjustment that we made in your routine?
It wasn't only my routine. I mean, it was most of my routine that helped me with my swing, but I was really focusing on the results, and I feel like this year I've hit a lot of balls hard at people and just not getting the results as far as batting average, all that hype and stuff, but really what the plan just helped me focus on this at bat, this present moment. Friday night I just kind of come up there, do my same routine just to be going through the routine, kick the dirt, wipe everything out, get in there, kind of just tap the plate, put bat on the shoulder, and go. So it was really rushed. I felt rushed up there. I thought I was doing the right thing, but Saturday, after watching videos on Friday night, I came up there and I really just came up there with a swagger, like Brian Kane taught us Friday night, and I came up to the plate, wiped the box out, but didn't only wipe the box out just to wipe it out, but I wiped it out with a purpose, to erase my bats before and erase everything the season before, or whatever it is. I came up there, so after I wiped out everything, I kicked the dirt, I came to the plate, came up, found not just a pebble, but, not just the plate, but a pebble on there, and just really focus it out and focus on the present moment. So once I do that, I take a pause, come with my bat on my shoulder, take a deep breath, relax, and then I get in my rhythm and just saying rip it, rip it, rip it, and take that each at bat at a time, each pitch at a time.
You felt like that's been able to help you kind of quiet the mind and get in the present moment and really focus on having quality at bats?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even today, Sunday, I started off hit one ball hard to center field. It felt like the results weren't good, but I was starting off 0 for 3 and I ended up 2 for 5 with a walk on the day, just not worrying about the bats before, just because of this routine.
He's a junior closer at Texas Christian University, one of the top pitchers in the country. He was a Cape Cod League All-Star last year. And Sam is going to talk us through his pre-pitch routine and what he does going from the bullpen as a closer out to the pitcher's mound. So Sam, you get the phone ringing, you come down here, you're getting warmed up. When they say you're in, how do you go from the bullpen to the mound? Because that is the start of your routine.
Well, when I come out of the bullpen, I take I don't sprint, but I take a nice brisk jog. And once I hit the infield grass, I break it down, and I basically just strut to the mound, just walk, and just let everybody know I'm there, and see basically that I'm cocky and I'm gonna blow you away. And then once I get up on the mound, I come up, and the first thing I do is I find out, what kind of shapes the mound's in. There's already been 7-8 innings played on this, so it's going to be pretty tore up. So I go through my delivery and just see where I'm going to land and see how everything's going. And from that point on, it's here we go, game's on. My warm-up pitches, I don't use my routine in my warm-up pitches because I have a totally different routine for it. I go through and I absorb everything that's around me in my warm-up pitches. I don't necessarily use it to figure out the mound or to get a feel for something. I use it to see the atmosphere that I'm in and what I'm gonna have to work against or work with, how the fans are. And then once I get up, most of the time when I come in now, there's always somebody on base, so I start off in the stretch. When I'm in the stretch, I step back first before I throw a pitch. I get a deep breath, calm myself, pound the ball in my glove. That's telling myself that, okay, here we go, game's on, get big. Then I come up to the rubber, I look down at my pitching toe, because it's never going to change, it's always going to be the same. Take a deep breath, step back, step up, get my footing. Look down at my pitching toe again, take a deep breath, and then I work my way up my body and up my arm, and get right here, and then I come set and go. From there. Repeat that every time from the stretch. From the windup, from behind, and I come up to the rubber, do the same thing. Same thing as from the stretch, just I'm from the windup, so nothing changes. Get a deep breath, step up, get my footing, look at my pitching toe again, take another deep breath, and just raise up. Just an intense glare, get ready to blow them away. At any time during this, if I feel that I didn't get a good breath, I just feel a little out of whack, step back, step off the mound, gather myself, and then go through the same thing again.
Okay, so you said you look down at your pitching toe. Is there something specific that you're looking at on your toe, or is it just your foot in general?
I'm just looking right at the tip of my foot because I know that it's never going to change. Everywhere I go, my foot is going to be there. That pitching toe is going to be the exact same every time.
Okay. Now talk about during a game as you're pitching, all of a sudden you get into yellow lights or red lights and you need to have a release. What do? You speak a lot in your interviews that we've done about the left field foul pole. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, what I do is I step back on the grass. The main thing is get off the dirt. The dirt is supposed to be what I like to call my happy place. All I think is good thoughts on the dirt. So I step back on the grass, I take my hat off, I wipe my head, get the sweat off, put the hat back on, and I look up at the top of the left field foul pole. Once again, that's never going to change. Everywhere you go, there's going to be a left field foul pole. So I focus on that, I block out everything else, and I just start to, absorb the situation, and then that's where I break it down. And then once I do that, I get rid of all my negative thoughts and everything. I get up on the mound, and it's game time.
And the whole process and the whole routine starts over again.
Starts over again, yeah.
Awesome.